Shabbat Shalom, my friends, and welcome back to our reading. A little bit of a different venue tonight. We're definitely on my porch, but it is definitely after sunset. So we will continue reading, and we will go with Genesis 30, Bereshit 30, and it is a little chilly this day, so we'll see. This may not work as well as I wanted it to because I cannot see as well as I wanted to. So let us continue with our reading. And 30, Genesis 30, Bereshit 30. And when Rachel saw that she bore Jacob no children, Rachel envied her sister and said to Jacob, "Give me children, or else I'm going to die." And Jacob's displeasure burned against Rachel, and he said, "Am I in the place of Elohim, who has withheld from you the fruit of the womb?" And she said, "See, my female servant, Bilhah, go into her, and let her bear for me, and let me be built up from her as well." Yeah, we've seen this and heard this before. This has happened once before, and really didn't work out too well now, did it? So we have that. Drunkenness is not allowed in service of Yah. However, a glass of whiskey, peanut butter whiskey, is not. And we'll continue with 30, verse 3. And she said, "See, my female servant Bilhah, go into her, and let her bear for me, and let me be built up from her as well." And she gave him Bilhah, her female servant, as wife. And Jacob went into her, and Bilhah conceived and bore Jacob a son. And Rachel said, "Elohim has rightly ruled my case, and has heard my voice, and given me a son." And she called his name Dan. Tribe of Dan. Later on, we're going to find out some interesting things about the tribe of Dan. So, and Rachel's female servant Bilhah conceived again and bore Jacob a second son. And Rachel said with great wrestling, "I have wrestled with my sister, and I have overcome." So she called his name Nephtali. I know I'm slaughtering that Hebrew again. And Leah saw that she had ceased bearing, and she took Zilpah, her female servant, and gave her to Jacob as wife. And Leah's female servant Zilpah bore Jacob a son. And Leah said, "Fortune comes." So she called his name Gad. And Leah's female servant Zilpah bore Jacob a second son. And Leah said, "I am happy, for the daughters shall call me happy." So she called his name Asher. And Reuben went in the days of wheat harvest, and found love apples in the field, and brought them to his mother Leah. And Rachel said to Leah, "Please give me some of your son's love apples." But she said to her, "Is it a small matter that you have taken away my husband? Would you take away my son's love apples too?" And Rachel said, "Therefore let him lie with you tonight for your son's love apples." So basically, they're now trading Jacob back and forth for love apples. So this is this is getting quite interesting. This is bordering. This is kind of basically bordering oh, how can we put this? Hebrew Jerry Springer, um, Maury Povich. Yeah, this is kind of getting, yes. And I'm not gonna lie, I've stole that line from someone else. Not gonna lie, I've stole that line. But this is seriously, this is like a very interesting. Back in the day, um, back in the day, Jerry Springer, we're sitting here, and I traded my sister's love apples so that I could have time with her husband, who is also my husband. Go Jerry, go Jerry. Yeah, okay, sorry. Just yes. Continue. And 17, and Elohim listened to Leah, and she conceived and bore Jacob a fifth son. And Leah said, Elohim has given me my heir, because I have given my female servant to my husband. So she called his name Issachar. I think it's Issachar. And Leah conceived again and bore Jacob a sixth son. And Leah said, Elohim has pleased me with a good present. Now my husband is going to dwell with me, because I have bore him 6 sons. So she called his name Zebulun. And afterward she bore a daughter, and called her name Dinah. So we now have a daughter. We have the sister Dinah. And Dinah's going to play a really big role in some interesting things here in the future. That is why I just absolutely adore Levi and Simeon. And Elohim remembered Rachel, and Elohim listened to her and opened her womb. So finally, after all of this stuff, Rachel is finally looking to Yahweh, and he's listening to her, because she's pleading to Yahweh, no longer to her husband, and he's opening her womb so that she can bear a child. And she conceived and bore a son, and said, Elohim has taken away my reproach. So she called his name Yusuf, or Joseph, and said, Elohim has added to me another son. And it came to be, when Rachel had bore Joseph, that Jacob said to Laban, send us on my way to go to my own place and to my own land. So Jacob is still hanging out, still doing work for Laban, Uncle Laban the wife peddler. I mean, Jacob wants his own place. He wants to get out of there. He's done tired with it. I'm tired, boss. I want to move on. Give my wives and my children, for whom I have served you, and let me go, for you yourself know my service which I have done for you. And Laban said to him, if I have found favor in your eyes, please stay, for I have diligently watched that Yahweh has blessed me for your sake. So Laban's like, dude, no, look at everything I have because of you. No, don't go. He doesn't want him to go. And he said, name me your wages, and I give it. So he said to him, you know how I have served you, and how your livestock has been with me. For the little you had before I came has wow, that's a tricky one. 30. For the little you had before I came has increased greatly, and Yahweh has blessed. Turn the page. Has blessed you since my coming. But now, when I am to provide for my own house too, and he said, what do I give you? And Jacob said, give me naught. If you do this for me, I shall again feed the guard your flocks. Let me pass through all your flocks today, removing from there all the speckled and spotted sheep and all the black ones among the lambs, and the spotted and the speckled among the goats, and that shall be my wages. So he's taken he's taken the trash. You can keep all the choice ones. Just let me take the trash. Let me take the ones that that aren't going to be pleasing to Yah. I'll take away the riffraff. So, and Laban said, "See, let it be according to your word." And on that day he set aside and made goats that were speckled and spotted, and all the female goats, and we'll do 30, 35. And on that day he set aside the male goats that were speckled and spotted, and all the female goats that were speckled and spotted, every one that had some white in it, and all the black ones among the lambs, and he gave them onto the hand of his sons. So he's given his sons the herds, Jacobus, and he put 3 days' journey between himself and Jacob, and Jacob fed the rest of Laban's flocks. And Jacob took for himself rods of green poplar, and of the almond and of the chestnut trees, peeled white strips in them, and exposed the white which was in the rods. And he set the rods which he had peeled before the flocks in the gutters, in the watering troughs where the flocks had came to drink, and they conceived when they came to drink. So the flocks conceived before the rods, and the flocks brought forth streaks speckled and spotted. And Jacob separated the lambs and made the flocks face toward the streaked and all the black in the flocks of Laban. But he put his own flocks by themselves, and did not put them with Laban's flocks. So he's keeping them separated. This is a good thing, okay? And it came to be, whenever the strong ones of the flock conceived, that Jacob placed the rods before the eyes of the flock in the gutters, so that they would conceive among the rods. But when the flocks were weak, he did not put them in, so the weak ones were Laban's, and the strong ones were Jacob's. And thus the man increased much, and had many flocks, and the females and the male servants, and the camels and the donkeys. And we're going to take a little quick pause there. Oh, that's not too bad. Yep. Oh, okay, that's a little better. Oh, that won't break me up too much. Seeing that right there. So editing, had to add a little more light, friends, just so it's a little bit easier for me to read in the dark. So, okay. As we continue to Genesis 31. And he heard the words of Laban's son, saying, Jacob has taken away all that was our father's, and from what belonged to our father he has made all his wealth. And Jacob would look at the face of Laban and see that it was not toward him as before. So Laban, not liking what Jacob's done, he's looking at him probably with some anger, some just he's not happy. So, Laban really wasn't a good guy, so I'm kind of not really feeling bad for Laban. And Yahweh said to Jacob, return to the land of your fathers, and to your relatives, and I am with you. And Jacob sent and called Rachel and Leah to the field to his flock, and said to him, I see your father's face, that is not toward me as before, but the Elohim of my father has been with me. And you know that I have served your father with all my strength. Yet your father has deceived me and changed my wages 10 times. But Elohim did not allow him to do evil to me. When he said this, the speckled are your wages. Then all the flocks bore speckled. And when he said this, the streaked are your wages. Then the flocks bore streaks. So Elohim has taken away the livestock of your father and given them to me. And it came to be at a time when the flocks conceived, that I lifted my eyes and looked in a dream, and I saw the rams which leapt upon the flocks were streaked, speckled, and mottled. And the messenger, capital M, of Elohim spoke to me in a dream, saying, Jacob. And I said, Here I am. And he said, Lift your eyes now, and see all the rams which leapt on the flocks are streaked, speckled, and mottled. For I have seen all that Laban is doing to you. For I am the El of Berel, where you anointed in the standing column, and where you made a vow to me. Now rise up, get out of this land, and return to the land of your relatives. So this is key, okay? This is the messenger of Yah speaking to him. Capital M. This is Yeshua. This is Jesus. This is a Christophany of Yeshua. This is Yeshua before we know him as Yeshua. Melchizedek, Yeshua. Messenger, the capital M. As we will more and more find out, that is the messenger of God. That is, whenever God appears in flesh, that's the way it is. And it is beginning to rain again. Okay. We may have to move if it starts coming down too much again, but we'll see. And he said, I am the Elohim of Baal. I am the El of Baal. Okay, this is not another god. This is not paganism. This is Elohim. This is El Shaddai. I am the El of Berel, where you anointed the standing column, and where you made a vow to me. Now rise up, get out of this land, and return to the land of your relatives. And Rachel and Leah answered and said to him, Do we still have any portion or inheritance to our father's house? Are we not reckoned by him as strangers? For he has sold us and also entirely consumed our silver. For all the wealth which Elohim has taken from our father is ours and our children's. Now then, do whatever Elohim has told you. So Jacob rose up and put his sons and his wives on camels, and they drove off his livestock. They drove off all his livestock and all his possessions which he had acquired his property of the livestock which he had acquired in Padan Aram, and to go to his father Isaac in the land of Canaan. Went to the land of Canaan. Didn't go to the land of Israel. Went to the promised land, Canaan. And when Laban had gone to shear his sheep, Rachel stole the house idols that were her father's. She's stealing pagan idols. Not so good. And Jacob deceived Laban, the Aramean, 31:20. And Jacob deceived Laban, the Aramean, because he did not inform him that he was about to flee. And he fled with all that he had, and he rose up, and he passed over the river, and headed toward the mountains of Gilead. And on the third day, Laban was told that Jacob had fled. Then he took his brothers with him and pursued him for 7 days' journey, and he overtook him in the mountains of Gilead. And in a dream by night Elohim came to Laban the Aramean and said to him, Guard yourself that you do not speak to Jacob either good or evil. Then Laban overtook Jacob. Now Jacob had pitched his tent in the mountains, and Laban with his brothers pitched in the mountains of Gilead. And Laban said to Jacob, What have you done that you have deceived me and driven my daughters off like captives, taken with the sword? Why did you flee secretively and deceive me and not inform me? And why would you have sent you away? And I would have sent you away with joy and songs, with tambourines and lyre. Yeah. And you did not allow me to kiss my sons and my daughters. Now you have been foolish to do this. Yeah, Laban's acting, he's the victim here. Laban's the victim. We know that. 31:29. It is in the power of my hand to do evil to you, but the Elohim of your father spoke to me last night, saying, Guard yourself that you do not speak to Jacob either good or evil. And now you have gone because you greatly long for your father's house. But why did you steal my mighty ones? And Jacob answered and said to Laban, Because I was afraid, for I said, Lest you tear your daughters away from me. With whoever you find your mighty ones, do not let him live in the presence of our brothers. See for yourselves what is with me, and take it with you. For Jacob did not know that Rachel had stolen them. And Laban went to Jacob's tent, and into Leah's tent, and into the tents of the two female servants, but he did not find them. For he came out of Leah's tent and entered Rachel's tent. Now Rachel had taken the house idols and put them in the camel's saddle and sat on them. And Laban searched all about the tents and did not find them. And she said to her father, Let it not displease my master, for I am unable to rise before you, for the way of woman is with me. She's on her period, folks. She's menstruating. She got her menses. I'm just sitting here because, if I get up, I may leak everywhere. Unclean. Oh, we're not there yet. That'll be Leviticus and all those. But she's with the way of woman. Where are we? And that was 31:35. And let it not displease my masters that I am unable to rise before you, for the way of woman is with me. And he searched, but did not find the house idols. And Jacob was wroth and contended with Laban. And Jacob answered and said to Laban, What is my transgression? What is my sin, that you have hotly pursued me? Now that you have searched all my goods, what have you found of all your household goods? Set it here before my brothers and your brothers, and let them decide between the two of us. These 20 years have been with you. These 20 years I have been with you. 20 years this guy's been busting up for, Uncle Laban, and he's just, Your ewes and your female goats have not miscarried their young, and I have not eaten the rams of your sheep, that which was torn by beasts. I did not bring to you. I myself bore the loss of it. You required it from my hand, whether stolen by day or stolen by night. Thus I was by day the heat consumed me, and the frost by the night, and my sheep fled from my eyes. These 20 years I have been in your house. I have served you 14 years for your 2 daughters, and 6 years for your flock. And you have changed my wages 10 times, unless the Elohim of my father, the Elohim of Abraham, and the fear of Isaac have been with me. you would now have sent me away empty-handed. Elohim has seen my affliction and the labor of my hands, and rendered judgment last night. And Laban answered and said to Jacob, these daughters are my daughters, and these children are my children, and these flocks are my flocks, and all that you see is mine. But what shall I do today to these my daughters, or to their children, for whom they have borne? And now come, let us make a covenant, you and I, and it shall be a witness between you and me. So Jacob took a stone and set it up as a standing column, and Jacob said to his brothers, gather stones. And they took stones and made a heap, and there they ate there on the heap. And Laban called it Iskar Sahu Dubalaba. We're not even going to try that. And Jacob called it Gaed. And Laban said, this heap is a witness before you and me today. That is why its name is called Galed. Also, Mitzpah, because he said, let Yahweh watch between you and me when we are out of each other's sight. If you afflict my daughters, or if you take other wives besides my daughters, although no man is with us, see, Elohim is witness between you and me. And Laban said to Jacob, see this heap, and see this standing column for which I have placed between you and me. This heap is a witness, and this standing column is a witness, for I do not pass beyond this heap to you, and you do not pass beyond this heap, for this standing column is me, for this column to me for evil. In Elohim, in the 31:53, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Nahor, and the Elohim of their father rightly rule between us. And Jacob swore by the father, and swore by the fear of his father Isaac. And Jacob slaughtered a slaughtering on the mountain, and called his brothers to eat bread. And they ate bread, and spent the night on the mountain. And Laban rose up early in the morning, and kissed his sons and daughters, and blessed them. And Laban left and returned to his place. And we're going to end right there, because that's going to start at 32. 32 is really, really, really awesome. 32, Genesis 32 is one of my favorites. So we're going to cover that next week. A little bit like of a late start. We had a little bit of a donkey in the ditch today. So most of my Shabbat was spent doing good. I do not work on Shabbat. There was a crisis. There were some individuals wheelchair bound. I mean, some individuals that were stranded. They don't have actual mobility. They're in wheelchairs. And I was called in to assist with that, and I gladly did, because these individuals don't have anybody else. So, but that's neither here nor there. But it is a later. It's a late start on reading the Bible. And it's been a very long day for me. But I want to get these readings done. Not for me, not for you, but for Elohim, Yahweh. I enjoy reading this word. I enjoy sharing the word. And hopefully you're following along with your books. Hopefully you're liking the commentary. And that, I know some of you don't. You made some comments on some of the shorts. Awesome. Hey, comments are awesome, man. Thumbs up, thumbs down, it's all good. It's still traction, and the more you do that, the more people see this. So I'm thrilled with that. So with that, I think we're going to bring this to a close. I don't want to go too much into this. I know I destroyed these words today. I hope you enjoyed following along today and reading along, or just listening. I really do encourage you to read along, so that when I mess up things, you can see it as well. But with that, thank you so much for joining me. I wish you a wonderful, blessed week. Shalom, shalom, my friends. I wish you perfect peace. And with that, blessings unto you. And thank you again. Shalom. Ow. Oh. Ouch. Oh. Yeah.